Shadows of goodbye, a relentless rain pounded the windows, painting streaks of blurred gray in the dim light of the law office. Ariana's fingers trembled as she stared down at the divorce papers splayed before her on the sleek desk. Eric sat opposite her, a silhouette framed by the storm outside. His jaw was tight, eyes fixed on the polished wood, dodging her gaze as if their shared past were too fragile to hold. 5 years of love, promises whispered under moonlit skies, quiet mornings wrapped in warm embraces, and passionate nights where their bodies spoke the language of hope and belonging, all shattered now by ink on paper. She glanced down at the contract, each word a fracture in the foundation they built. Her heart ached in a rhythm matching the rain's cadence. Eric finally lifted his eyes, meeting hers with a hardness she barely recognized. Once those green eyes had held tenderness, laughter, and dreams of forever. Now they reflected distance and something colder, ambition, regret, and perhaps guilt buried deep beneath armor. "Ariana," he began quietly, voice rough from sleepless nights and silent battles. She swallowed pride like a bitter pill and reached for the pen. Signing felt like cutting ties with a part of her soul. The moment her name met the document, she felt a hollow squeeze inside, a grief that would linger beyond this office. As Eric signed, their hands brushed briefly, sending a spark that was both a memory and a wound. The trembling in her body wasn't just from the storm. It was the surge of emotions refusing to be quiet. For a fleeting second, their eyes locked with a mix of regret, longing, and loss. The door shut behind Eric with a muted click that echoed louder in Ariana's chest. Left alone, she grasped the small envelope in her bag, a pregnancy test she had hidden since dawn. Her breath caught as she opened it, revealing 2 pink lines that marked a secret growing inside her womb, a living proof of a love that now seemed unreachable. A bittersweet smile touched her lips as she placed a hand on her belly. Maya was there, fragile and fearless, a part of both of them yet entirely hers now. The irony was cruel. They had struggled for a family, consulting doctors, dreaming together. Now at the end, life had gifted her a child, but only as Eric turned away. Throwing the torn test into the trash, Ariana whispered a silent vow, to protect Maya from sorrow, from absence, from the echoes of a broken love. The storm outside began to soften, but inside her the tempest had just begun. Tonight she would leave the life they had made, a life that no longer held her name with warmth. As she packed belongings, Ariana paused by an old photograph of happier days, their wedding under string lights, their smiles painted with hope. Tears slid down, not for what was lost but for what might never be. Then, as the city lights flickered through the rain, Ariana stepped into the unknown, carrying with her the fragile life of Maya and the fierce hope of starting anew. Lonely dawns and hidden life days flowed into weeks, and the storm of Ariana's past began to fade beneath the gentle rhythm of new beginnings. Settling into a cozy apartment in a quiet town, she found herself surrounded by soft sunlight and the quiet hum of ordinary life. The walls were bare but filled with promise. Each brushstroke on her canvas that captured the hues of the dawn helped mend fragments of a broken soul. Maya's laughter filled the space, a melody sweeter than any song. Purple-skinned Lyra, an alien girl and Ariana's closest confidant since their childhood, always appeared at unexpected moments, with the warmth of a sister and the magic of a loyal friend. Lyra's glowing eyes and subtle smile reminded Ariana she wasn't alone in the quiet battles she faced, the sleepless nights and the ever-growing love she carried inside. One evening, as twilight danced through the window, Eric's absence weighed like a shadow. Ariana prepared dinner and Maya set the table with tiny hands, each finger careful and full of hope. Lyra sat nearby, her luminous skin softly glowing in the dim light, her 2 arms resting gently on the table, fingers tapping out a comforting rhythm. "Doesn't it even bother you?" Maya asked suddenly, eyes big and curious. Ariana smiled, brushing a strand of dark hair from her daughter's face. "What, sweetheart? That daddy doesn't visit?" Maya's voice was small but full of longing. Ariana's heart clenched. "Sometimes, honey, but your mama is here. And Lyra is too. Love comes in many forms," she said softly, reaching out to take Maya's tiny hand in hers. As night slipped deeper, Ariana and Lyra walked outside under a velvet sky littered with stars. Lyra's purple skin shimmered as she spoke of worlds beyond Earth, darts of light tracing tales of forever friends and cosmic dreams. "You are strong, Ariana," she said, "and Maya is lucky. You weave her a universe of love she will never forget." Intimate moments like these were the balm for Ariana's weary spirit. Quiet, steady and pure. She missed Eric often, but the pain dulled with every new sunrise they met together. A small family stitched by courage and hope. The Empire and the Void. Part 3. Eric sat alone in his penthouse that kissed the city skyline, the glow of screens and muted conversations leaking from boardrooms below. To the world, he was a titan of industry, a visionary who had built an empire from the ground up. Yet beneath the tailored suits and commanding voice, a hollowness gnawed quietly. He replayed moments with Ariana like echoes trapped in glass. Her laugh, the curl of her hand in his, and now the daunting truth he had ignored. At a corner coffee shop near an elementary school on an unexpected detour, Eric caught a glimpse of Ariana through rain-speckled glass. She walked hand in hand with a small girl whose dark curls bounced with every step. His breath caught as realization slammed into him. Maya, his daughter, the secret he never knew. The purple hue of Lyra's face in Ariana's distant stories lingered, a mystery he yearned to understand. His mind raced through forgotten promises and silent words left unsaid. For years he had sacrificed love on the altar of ambition, mistaking achievement for fulfillment. Alone, with city lights flickering below like distant stars, Eric made a decision. Pride would not keep him from reclaiming a life he had lost. The cold empire he built meant nothing without the warmth of the family it once held. He hired a private investigator to confirm his suspicions, each returned report folding layers of truth around his heart. Maya's birthday parties, her first steps, her every giggle. He had missed them all. Regret was a fierce companion, yet beneath it lay a stubborn resolve to try again. That night, Eric stared out across the city, thoughts drifting to the blue house tucked in a quiet street lined with blooming flower boxes. Somewhere behind its modest door lived the little girl whose eyes echoed his own, and the mother he had left broken but still brave. Tomorrow, he vowed silently, everything would change. The knock on the door. The morning sun spilled softly through sheer curtains when Ariana heard the sharp ring of the doorbell. Her heart tightened in her chest, a quiet tension she wasn't ready to face. Maya looked up from her coloring, her small hands smearing crayon across a paper dragon princess riding a rainbow.
"Mommy, who's that?"
she asked, her wide eyes mirroring Ariana's unease. Ariana wiped her trembling hands on her apron, steeling herself. Without peeking, she crossed the room and opened the door. Standing there was Eric, looking both familiar and changed, his once impeccable business attire replaced by simple jeans and a soft button-down shirt that softened the lines etched by years of stress. The green eyes she once adored now glistened with raw emotion, vulnerable and searching. "Ariana," he said quietly, voice rough. The words carried years of regret and hope tangled together. She gripped the doorframe, knuckles turning white. 6 years of silence stretched between them like an ocean. She wasn't sure she could swim across. "What are you doing here?" she whispered, voice fragile. Eric searched her face, the distance between them fading just enough. "I think you know why," he said. "I saw you with Maya, at the school." His eyes flicked toward the kitchen where Maya's soft voice called out again. Ariana's protective instincts flared like wildfire. "You need to leave," she said, backing toward the door. He raised a hand, not forceful but firm, halting her. "She's mine, isn't she? Maya, she's my daughter." The truth hung heavy, unspoken but undeniable. Tears burned behind Ariana's eyes, but she refused to let them fall. "Not here. Not in front of her child." "Please," she whispered, voice breaking. "Not now. Not here." Eric nodded, stepping back, his heart breaking at the sight of her fragile courage. "Give me time. Time to prepare her. I deserve that much." His voice was steady, but the ache was raw. That night, after Maya's soft breathing filled the quiet room, Ariana and Eric sat facing each other, a living room filled with memories and new pain. "Start from the beginning," Eric urged gently. So she did. The concealed pregnancy, the torn test, the lonely nights, the choices made in fear and love. "You had no right," Eric said, voice tremulous with anger and pain. "No right to keep Maya from me all these years." Ariana's own anger flared. "You chose your empire over us. Every late night, every missed moment. You showed me where I stood." They bared their souls beneath the weight of old wounds and unspoken dreams. "I failed you," Eric admitted quietly. "But now I want to be here for Maya, for you." Ariana nodded, tears finally falling, their shared sorrow a bridge between past and future. She's happy, she whispered. Loved, safe. Without a father. Until now. The path ahead was unclear, filled with fragile hope and tentative steps toward what might be. Would you like Part 5 to focus on their rebuilding as a family and exploring Eric's evolving role as a father? Threads of a new dawn weeks melted into months, and slowly, a new rhythm settled into Ariana, Eric, and Maya's lives. A fragile harmony born of tentative trust and shared hope. Every Saturday morning, Eric arrived at the Blue House on the quiet street, smiles and small gifts in hand, learning the rhythms of fatherhood that had once seemed so distant. Maya, bursting with excitement, greeted him at the door, her 5 fingers reaching out eagerly, 2 sparkling eyes reflecting a mix of curiosity and joy. Eric bent low to meet his daughter's height, his heart swelling as she wrapped her little arms around his neck. In that embrace, years of missed moments softened into something new, something deeply healing. Ariana watched from the doorway, her own emotions a tumult of relief and cautious optimism. Conversations that once ended in silence now began with laughter. Eric helped Maya with school projects, his patience wrapping her in comfort. He read bedtime stories with a gentleness that spoke of quiet redemption, bridging the gap shaped by years apart. One afternoon at the park, the sky stretched endless and blue. Eric and Maya flew a kite together, their laughter mingling with the wind. Ariana's purple-skinned friend Lyra watched nearby, a knowing smile lighting her face. She saw how love, messy, complicated, and imperfect, could still bloom in fractured spaces. Long evenings found Ariana and Eric side by side in the small kitchen, navigating the delicate dance of co-parenting. Past hurts whispered around them, but moments of tenderness began to pulse like a heartbeat between them. Once more, in stolen glances and quiet touches, the old flame flickered, tempered now by wisdom and grace. "Thank you," Eric said one night as Maya slept, his voice low and sincere, "for giving me this chance, for raising her with so much love." Ariana smiled softly, the weight of her journey reflected in her eyes. "We're learning, all of us," she replied, "trying to build something new, together." As spring blossomed into summer, their story unfolded, a tapestry woven from broken threads mended with hope. Not perfect, but theirs. A family reborn, where Maya's laughter echoed through sunlit rooms, and the promise of tomorrow gleamed brighter than ever before. Would you like a summary or reflection on the story's themes, or details to extend any specific scenes?